To most people, public highways look like this. Big roads with plenty of traffic on them. And although in Scotland some public highways can be far narrower than roads you generally find in other places around the world, notably North America, there's generally enough room to squeeze at least one car travelling in one direction along them, with the odd passing place to let oncoming traffic pass. But what if we told you that Kirriemuir, a small market town with plenty of old world charm in the Angus Glens, a little over 6 miles from Forfar, is home to the narrowest public highway in Europe, at just 15 3/4 inches wide? Good luck with driving along this particular public highway. Most people find it a squeeze just walking along it. Perhaps Kirriemuir's biggest claim to fame is that it is the birthplace of Peter Pan creator J.M. Barrie, who was born here in 1860. The town is also the birthplace of 7 notable people, including a rock legend, the first postwoman in Britain to wear trousers, and a famous actor who claimed he was born in Kirriemuir but wasn't. Stay with us until the end to find out who this famous actor was. Before we start our wee tour of Kirriemuir, please like and share this film, and hit that notification bell to be informed of other great content from the Scotland channel. Let's start by visiting the world's narrowest public highway, Cat's Close, situated between Grantspen and Kirkwynd. It is a mere 40 centimetres or 15 3/4 inches wide, and yes, it is officially a public highway, even though it doesn't look like a typical street, but more like a narrow pathway between 2 buildings. But because it is a public right-of-way and a footpath, in Scotland this qualifies it as a public highway. The good folk of Kirriemuir claim it's the narrowest public highway in Western Europe, although, not to put a complete dampener on it, there are other narrow streets such as the one in Reutlingen, Germany, which is also 40 centimetres wide, so almost certainly shares Kirriemuir's limelight. There are, somewhat surprisingly, a whole bunch of other streets around the world, which are vying for the title of narrowest street in the world, such as Parliament Street in Exeter, at a more roomy 25 inches wide, or Fantan Alley in Victoria, British Columbia, at a positively spacious 35 inches wide. Believe it or not, this thin pathway in Kirriemuir brings its fair share of visitors to the town, eager to squeeze their way along what is reputed to be the thinnest public highway in Western Europe, if not the world, but certainly in Scotland. But perhaps Kirriemuir's biggest claim to fame is that Peter Pan author J.M. Barrie was born here in 1860. James Matthew Barrie was the 9th child of 10, 2 of whom died before he was born. Like his siblings, all were educated in at least the 3 R's. Barrie was a small child and drew attention to himself from an early age with his storytelling. As an adult, he grew to just 5 foot 3/4 of an inch tall. At the age of 8, Barrie was sent to Glasgow Academy, in the care of his eldest siblings, Alexander and Marie Anne, who taught at the school. By the age of 10, he returned and continued his education at Forfar Academy, again under the watch of Alexander and Marie Anne, and at the age of 14, he followed them to Dumfries Academy. It was in Dumfries where he and his friends spent time in the garden of Moat Bray playing pirates, which gave him the inspiration for Peter Pan. His character Peter Pan first appeared in his novel The Little White Bird, published in 1902 by Hodder and Stoughton and serialised in the United States. It was in 1911 that Barrie gave the copyright of his Peter Pan works to London's Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, where there is another statue of Peter Pan with others being located in London's Kensington Gardens, Brussels, Belgium, St John's, Newfoundland, Canada, Liverpool, Toronto, Perth, Australia, and Camden, New Jersey, USA. Barrie's birthplace at number 9, Brechin Road, Kirriemuir, is maintained as a museum by the National Trust for Scotland. Despite living in London for much of his later life, Barrie remained tied to his Scottish roots and visited his hometown regularly. Barrie died of pneumonia at a nursing home in Marylebone on June 19, 1937, and is buried in Kirriemuir Cemetery next to his parents and 2 of his siblings. A piece of post office history was made in Kirriemuir, when in 1941 local woman and postwoman, Jean Cameron, successfully petitioned the post office at the age of just 19 to allow her to wear trousers instead of a skirt as part of her uniform. The uniform trousers became known as Camerons in her honour. She successfully argued that skirts were simply impractical for delivering mail and urgent telegrams, whether on bicycle or on foot to rural areas, which required walking through burns and crossing stone stiles. Within 2 months of her victory, 500 pairs of Camerons had been ordered, and by November 1943, 14,000 pairs had been issued. Thanks to Jean, today it's commonplace to see post women wearing trousers. but back in the 1940s it was a big deal and created some controversy. No visit to Kirriemuir would be complete, especially for those with a sweet tooth, without a visit to Scotland's oldest sweet shop. The Star Rock shop has been continuously trading since 1833.
So, Star Rock shop was founded in 1833 by a guy called David Ferguson. He was originally a stonemason, but after an accident he was left half-blinded. So in order to maintain an income, he started making rock, boiled sugar. He started off then with creating Star Rock, which came in the same packaged form seen now. Obviously, we've had to put a plastic liner as the ages have changed, but it was always wrapped up in the paper. It kept him going, same recipe since 1833, through both the World Wars, and has been passed on from owner to owner, and has kept the exact same recipe for the last 190 odd years. We've also then expanded on the recipe throughout the years, and it's been able to create various different other flavors of rock, such as our clove and one of our more famous ones, the horehound. We also end up making a collection of fudges, tablet, and we also have some treacle toffee and cream rock as well, all which we make in the kitchen in the back. Alongside that, we also end up selling a lot of other traditional sweets, all the different boiled sugars, bonbons, and then we get all your collections of Haribo gummies and all that kind of stuff.
From rock shop to cop shop. Just along from the Star Rock sweet shop is the town's police station with a small museum which is open to the public on certain days, charting the history of the police service in Dundee, Perth and Kinross and Angus from 1800 through to the present day. Interestingly, Kirriemuir still has one of the very few red telephone boxes, with a telephone still in it, just alongside the police station. The town has several other museums too, including the Gateway to the Glens Museum in the townhouse, which was constructed in 1604 and restored in 2001. This museum tells the story of Kirriemuir and the Angus Glens, with exhibitions which include a model of the town as it was in 1604 and a natural history display. And in addition to the J.M. Barrie Birthplace Museum we've already mentioned, there's the Camera Obscura Museum on Northmuir Hill, a stone's throw from the Neverland Play Park, and the cemetery where J.M. Barrie is buried. So what of the town's other famous people, apart from J.M. Barrie and the trouser-wearing postwoman Jean Cameron? Well, for lovers of the rock band ACDC, vocalist Bon Scott was from Kirriemuir, where he lived until 1952 when his family emigrated to Australia. There's a statue to Bon Scott in the town's Bellies Brae Car Park and an annual Bonfest rock music event held in his honour. The man who created the first road map of England in 1675 was born in Kirriemuir in 1600. John Ogilby also established Ireland's first theatre in Werber Street, Dublin. As well as producing the first Atlas of England and Wales, he also produced a large-scale map of the City of London following the Great Fire of 1666. Former Nottingham Forest and Scotland international, Scott McKenna, was also born in Kirriemuir in 1996, starting his career at Aberdeen, before moving to Ayr United, Alloa, Nottingham Forest, Copenhagen and Las Palmas in 2024. Another famous celebrity born in Kirriemuir is actor and singer Ryan Kopel. He made his TV debut in 2021 on the drama Casualty, after appearing in West End shows including Book of Mormon. Another actor, David Niven, claimed he was born in Kirriemuir, but he was actually born in London's Marylebone. It's not known why Niven claimed Kirriemuir as his birthplace, but his father, William, was of Scottish descent, and Niven's paternal great-grandfather and namesake, David Graham Niven, was from the Perthshire village of St Martin's. Many people still associate this charming wee town with Kirriemuir gingerbread, which was created by local baker Walter Burnett around 1900. However, the recipe was sold in the 1940s to Shotts-based Bells, and is no longer made in the town. Situated at the base of the Angus Glens, Kirriemuir sits looking south toward Glarms Castle and the Sidlaws over Strathmore, one of Scotland's most fertile fruit-growing areas. Aside from the visitor attractions we've mentioned, Kirriemuir is also an attractive centre for hill walking on the nearby Munros. We hope that you've enjoyed our visit to Kirriemuir. Check out our other films on the Scotland channel at youtube.com/@thescotlandchannel/videos. Thanks for watching.